Before we get going on this final video of this playthrough slash guide of this game I have such fond memories of playing, back on GameCube, I'd like to give a shout out to Brian Hendricks, who bought this game on his Steam account when he seemed pretty dead set he was going to get it on PS3 and PS4, because if you pre-ordered one of them you got both of them. But I convinced him to get it on PC so he could play at 60 frames per second, so I could do a playthrough of it, yada yada yada. Thanks, Brian. Thanks for letting me use your account to play this. And I'd also like to say hello to the 9 or 10 subscribers I've gained since I started this playthrough. Hello there. Let us continue. In the darkness lies your fears. I was recording kind of choppy there for a moment when I was running to the item chest. It's okay now. Don't want to take any chances, just step, step, step. Shouldn't be any more chimeras. Oh, that isn't how it works. A fuel supplying device for the power room. It's not working right now because there's no fuel. Set the capsule into place. Okay, now I can run. Fuel seems to have been supplied to the power room. Security system passcode transmission device. If you had an MO disk, you could transmit the passcode to the system. Oh! Guy was gonna jump me. Can I do a 360? Can I do a 180, not a 360? Pow. Well, blew his head off and he could still attack. How rotten's that? No matter how much you fuck them up with that first shot, they'll get back up. And not once has it taken more than 2. Hunters, I believe I've killed some hunters with just 2 shots. Most of the time in this playthrough it's been 3. The chimeras, they've dropped after 2 every time. Oh. Did that guy get blown away in one shot? It was like the second shot didn't even hit it. It's like I put the shotgun to the back of its head and just blew it off. He's still alive. We're gonna have to go back to the instant replay on that. The lab self-destruct mechanism, it's huge. Wait, look at all that goo. That sparkly goo. Oh, and then it disappears. There's no power to to the main elevator. Start it up. I was expecting another chimera to jump out. I think it could still happen. Getting to the point where it makes a lot of sense to carry the Magnum around. Yeah, let's just go like this. Alright, so I used the third and last MO disc on that console. So let's go to where those levers are that turned green. Levers for releasing the door locks. It looks usable. Pull it. And those beeps sound like a speak and spell. Old answering machine.
Chris?
Jill.
Chris, Wesker's the...
I know. I can't open it. Just wait, I'll be back.
Okay.
If you go back, it's locked. Can't do anything yet. Now, let me go into the files here. Laboratory. Security protocols. Wait. Power room. Triple lock door. Entry into the room is limited to the sole person who deactivates the lock with all the passcodes. Accessing the exclusive output terminals located in each section of the... oh wait, prison. At least one consult must be present, yeah. This is what I was looking for. So, I'm not sure who E. Smith is. I know William Birkin, I know Wesker. Maybe one of those other scientists in that photo with Wesker where I said Wesker looked photoshopped in. Maybe those are some of these other people. But this is a clue that Wesker has access to that door. That's what that, from reading that. The prison door. Almost went through there. That would have gone to the security room. Security room with an operating table on it. It appears to be the control panel for the elevator. Press the switch. Elevator's working.
Chris!
Rebecca!
I saw you in the inner garden. I finally caught up.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. No more following. Just stay with me, kid.
That's my plan, sir.
I'd give her my shotty if I could. I could have the Magnum, she could have the shotgun. I just put that handgun away. It's of no use from here on out.
Wesker.
So you've come. Chris, you make me proud. But of course you are one of my men.
Thanks. Since when, Wesker?
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about.
Since when have they been slipping you a paycheck?
I think you're a bit confused. I've always been with Umbrella. And stars were umbrellas. No, rather, my little piggies. The Tyrant virus leaked, polluting this whole place. And unfortunately, I had to give up my lovely members of Stars.
You killed them with your own dirty hands! You son of a bitch!
No.
Oh yes, dear. Just like this.
Rebecca!
Don't move!
You...
I don't think you want to die just yet. I have something that's of some interest to you. The ultimate life form. Tyrant.
Wesker, you've become senile.
Chris, you'll never understand. It's magnificent.
Wesker!
So much for him. It's all veiny.
Come on, you test tube freak.
Oh, he still hit me. Seemed like I was a bit out of reach. Got me on caution. What a pathetic way to die. He's holding something. Observation note. The discovery of the G virus was in fact 21 years after the administration of the primogenitor virus. The prototype parasite, which we had delivered from a laboratory in France, was administered to the sample specimen. Sample specimen took in the parasite without showing any signs of adverse reaction. The lack of any reaction was an unsolved mystery, but now everything is clear to me now. The prototype parasite was incubating in the sample specimen's body for 21 years. Then from that incubating state, the prototype suddenly mutated. Evolved may be a more appropriate word to describe it. This observation gave me more insight in my research. Through further modification and testing, I was able to derive a method to create the G that surpasses the performance of the T. Okay, this has to be William Birkin here. This was the breakthrough that would change the future of the BOW's history. I can't wait to see the look on Alexa's annoying face when I finally announce my research, but unfortunately I'll have to wait a few more years to completely verify my findings. William Birkin. Check on Rebecca after I release this. A panel used to release the emergency electronic lock. Release it. It's been released. Now I can leave. Oh, if you could just run up and hit that and just walk out, that'd be pretty cheap way to skip the boss. Like the snake.
Rebecca!
Chris.
It's a good thing you were wearing your bulletproof vest. There's nothing left for us to do here. Let's get moving.
Okay.
If Wesker wanted her dead, he wouldn't have shot the vest. Just wanted to stun her.
What is it?
I found a file in the lab. Apparently, there's still a lot of Tyrant virus here. We should blow this whole place up.
Right. The show must go on. I'll leave that up to you, Rebecca.
I'm on it. I'll start the self-destruct system I found a little while ago.
It's not like we're out of this yet. I'll see you on the outside.
Outside.
Still ended up splitting up. They wouldn't allow you to have an escort through parts of the game that would have any regular enemies around. And now it's almost like even worth carrying that. Yeah, if I run out of ammo... Oh noes. Wait a minute. Okay, let's keep going. I think to rescue Jill.
Self-destruct
Oh.
system has been activated. All personnel must evacuate immediately.
See, when this
Activating and releasing all locks.
all the locks are open now, so I can save Jill.
Self-destruct system has been activated. All personnel must evacuate immediately. Deactivating and releasing all locks. Self-destruct system
I'm wondering, maybe I gave Rebecca the master key to go start the self-destruct sequence going. Because I don't have it. So I was checking my inventory like, what the hell? Lock is released. I think Chris is due for a hug.
Jill, sorry I made you wait.
I knew you'd come.
Let's get out of here.
Ah, he just touched her hand. They held hands. She's got her weak sauce handgun too. Have a chimera to the right. If I turn to the left immediately, I have no problem.
Let's get going!
Oh wait, it's in the next room. This is what I was referring to. Once again, I've been abandoned. Not gonna mess. Not gonna mess. This emergency self-destruct sequence, siren they keep blasting, and the voice, you know, intercom voice in it repeating. Sounds like this could be like a, you know, remixed into like a, I don't know, some dubstep, drum and bass, techno rave remix. Do a OC remix of that. Yeah, I'm gonna feel really... That's just insurance. And I'm gonna end up using one of my herbs before I even get a chance. Oh, hello, Jill. She won't talk, okay. There's gonna be something I have to pick up into my inventory, so I will have to use an herb. More shells, more health.
This is Brad. Running out of fuel. This is your last chance. If there's anyone alive, give me a sign. I repeat, this is your last chance.
Let's see. Take the fuse unit.
To detonation.
The self-destruct system's activated.
Good work. Brad's up in the helicopter.
Those things are coming.
I'll take care of them.
But...
Chris, you just get in contact with Brad somehow.
Okay.
Not giving you a chance to go back and pick up those shells or whatever health that was. I'm gonna need an extra item slot anyway. Signal rockets. Examine. Flare rockets I can signal Brad with. Also, when you go into the menus, the time doesn't tick away. So it was like at 2:45. Well, let me go back. Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
For that thing to jump like that. Thing's badass to be able to jump like that. Okay, I asked for that one. Got him here. Oh shit. Oops.
Chris, use it! Kill it, whatever it is!
Brad, I didn't hear your helicopter. I did not hear a helicopter hovering. Normal and easy difficulties, it'll hit him on the first attempt. How he can deflect a rocket, no idea. That's just an unrealistic explosion. See, now we have like all those files and incriminating evidence. I mean, there's no way Umbrella's gonna get away with this. This is like, it's gonna put the kibosh on everything they're doing. I mean, I got handwritten letters, I got, you know, scientific research documents, I got, you know, just all this incriminating, fucked up, Enron, Dick Cheney, Richard Nixon, like, I got fucking, like, secret tapes and shit. Yeah, man, I got secret tapes. They're through. Umbrella's done. But we all know that isn't how it worked out. At the start of Resident Evil 3, the intro with Jill, she's talking about, like, she gets to Raccoon City and no one believes her. But, I mean, didn't you pick up anything, Jill? Like, okay, when I played the game, I picked up a bunch of papers, you know? I read some of them to you. I think I read, like, every document I picked up. Maybe I stumbled through some of them a bit, but yeah. Picked them up, I read them. Maybe Jill... Maybe in the story they don't pick up any evidence, or somehow it gets shredded. It's like Wesker and Umbrella, they have spies everywhere. People that just don't fucking get it, that they're gonna get thrown under the bus eventually if they work for Wesker or Umbrella. I mean, they were willing to kill, like, everybody in that lab. Wesker was willing to kill everybody in that lab just to test how dangerous these BOWs were. I swear, when he says, like, oh, the Tyrant virus leaked and blah, 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 that was him. I don't think that was an accident. I really
Chris,
don't.
You did a fine job.
See, now, it doesn't give me a ranking, okay? Resident Evil 0 gives you a ranking, and most other classic ones give you a ranking, not this one. But it does say, you know, health items used, ink ribbons used. And I guess ideally, if you were going to judge if you did well, it would be, okay, first of all, lowest time, minimal amount of creatures dispatched, minimum amount of ink ribbons used, and minimum amount of health items used. So just lower numbers across all those different categories. I would say that's how you would judge like someone did better than the other person. Just lower numbers. Now playing with features from the prototype version. Real survival mode unlocked. Item boxes are no longer connected, meaning that items can only be taken from the box where they were stored. See, now in Resident Evil 0, you could drop your items like all over the place, right? You could drop, because there weren't any item boxes at all, but you could still drop them places. In this mode, Real Survival mode, you can't drop the items. You can only put them in item boxes, and the item boxes are not connected. Okay, so that is a pain. That's a pain in the ass. Okay. Also, weapon aiming is manual. Okay. I mean, I don't take it for granted, the automatic weapon aiming that I was doing. Like, that was a way of, you know, checking a corner if there was a zombie around it. You just go in front of the corner. Yeah, you just, instead of turning around the corner and before you could really see what's going on there, before the camera changes, you could just go around the corner but kind of far away from the corner and then just hit the, you know, aim button. And if there was a zombie there, and maybe you didn't hear it, you know, your character would just do like a 90-degree spin at the direction so you know something's there. So I don't take that for granted, and I definitely was using that. So that would be more of a challenge there if weapon aiming was manual. Yeah, experience these prototype-only features unavailable in the original Resident Evil gameplay. Okay, now when they say that, I'm pretty sure they're just talking about the PlayStation 1. Closet key. New costume. Okay. And we'll just do another save here. Got the ending with Jill and Rebecca. It's going to boot us to the front. Oh, title screen changed. Once again. What about that one tough zombie mode? Or if I do once again...
Resident Evil.
New costume has been... okay. Okay, I think maybe to unlock one tough zombie mode or the invisible zombie mode, I think on the same file you have to complete it with Chris and Jill. So the file that I just, you know, did once again on, if I switched over to Jill and did a playthrough with Jill, I think I would unlock some more stuff. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to record that because I already did a playthrough with Chris. But if I recall, I think you unlock some more stuff there. So if Brian, when he gets his PC back... Oh yeah, you can check them out. Okay, so I gotta do it with Jill to get another one. Look at that. That's different. He looks like he's... I don't know, like he's gonna go skiing or something. Yeah, about Brian, he brought me his PC a couple weeks ago. It hadn't been working very well, and pretty much I ran malware bytes and crap cleaner, and I installed Avast, and apparently he had disabled his, Norton internet security, and it was because it was getting like really annoying, affecting how he was doing stuff. So like he would try to do stuff and it would like interrupt him, and like he couldn't do things because he needed to like set exceptions and a firewall and stuff like that or whatever. It was just bugging him. So I think he just disabled it, or and before he did some stuff and he forgot to turn it back on and he just left it like that. And it left his PC very vulnerable. So when he gave it to me, Windows was pretty damaged. It's pretty broken. I think a lot of people, they would have just, just uninstalled everything. I mean, would have done a clean install of Windows, right? But after, running Malwarebytes, Crap Cleaner, and I installed Avast, it pretty much cleaned up everything, and I'm just gonna go with that. All right. So yeah, I've had his PC for a while. I'm waiting for him to pick it up, and so he could enjoy this game. Do a playthrough with Jill on top of the one that I did with Chris, maybe on the same file. But I did play this on my own PC. See, he has an i7 3770K. That's an Ivy Bridge i7. And I have an i5 2500K. That's a Sandy Bridge i5. He has a 2GB 7850, and I have a 1GB 6870. His video card's about 18-20% more powerful across the board, doing everything. His video card can run Dead Rising 3 at 1080p because it has 2 gigs of vRAM. And when I try to play Dead Rising 3 on my PC, if I try playing at 1080p, it runs at like fucking like 12, 15 frames because there's a vRAM bottleneck where you need a 2 gig card to play that game at 1080p. And also his PC in general, like all the parts in it, they're like a generation newer of what I have. Like same ASRock motherboard, but it's like the next generation AMD video card, Intel CPU, and it all started. I built his PC in 2013, and it all started with a Micro Center deal where I got him I gave him a tip about going to a Micro Center near where he lives. He lives in Anaheim, I believe, and there was a Micro Center in like City of Industry, or it was wherever it was. It was just somewhere very close to Anaheim, within like 8 or 10 miles. He drove over there, got an i7, which ordinarily would have been like $330 or $350, or just something like that, over $300. He got one for like $225 or $230. It was like $90 off, and that was the start of me building his PC. Across the board, a generation newer than what I already had, and I think it came out pretty well. It took a while for him to get all the parts together. We got the video card too early. We got a 7850, in frickin' May, and if we would have waited until he got the other parts, which was much later that year, like in, September, November, something like that. It was almost the end of the year when he finally got all the other parts. By then we could have gotten like a R9 270X for like the same price as what we paid for the 7850. But that's how it goes. Video card probably ought to be the last part you get because prices fluctuate, the market changes, and there's always something just around the corner worth waiting for, it seems like. Like right now, I'm due for a video card upgrade, and I'm waiting for whatever AMD's doing, right? I mean, that 960X just came out, and it's kind of lackluster, I was thinking it was going to be like a 770, but like way lower, power requirements, but it's closer to like a 285 or a 280X. I think I was looking at some of the benchmarks. I mean, it trades blows, the 280, not a 280X. No. I was saying that the NVIDIA GTX 960, it trades blows with the R9 280, the non-X, and the 285. You know, trades blows, and in some of the benchmarks I've seen, probably because you know, drivers need to be, you know, better optimized or updated, you know, and blah blah blah. I saw like the 760 and the 960, they were kind of matching in certain games. That was very odd. But yeah, I built my PC in 2012, like March of 2012. You know, I was thinking about getting a video card this year, and I'm gonna be looking for what AMD's doing, you know, because I mean a 970, that's a pretty legit video card. I will have to say that that news that broke within the last week about, you know, after a GTX 970, after, you know, 3 or 3.5 gigs of vRAM is used, the remaining vRAM, you know, to get to 4, if you go over 3 or 3.5 gigs of vRAM with the GTX 970, as of right now, the game just starts to stutter. Like whatever vRAM your GPU's utilizing, it just chokes. It's the extra VRAM that's necessary. It's going at like 5 or 10% the speed of accessing things, whatever of what it's supposed to be doing, and that really sucks. And it doesn't affect games that use 3 gigs or less, but if you're playing, you know, at 4K or 1440p, if you got that Anti Aliasing going, you're using a lot of VRAM, you know, especially like in the future, you know, some future games. If you're exceeding 3 gigs of VRAM with the GTX 970, right now it's going to choke. And if they can't fix it in the drivers, maybe they can do it with a firmware update, but you know, that'd be something if there was a recall of that. It would cost Nvidia a lot of money. And let me look at the time. Okay, I've been going for about 43 minutes here. This concludes my playthrough of Resident Evil HD Remastered with Chris. I will not be putting up one with Jill. I will maybe play that off camera, but I won't bother putting it up because it's pretty redundant to do that. And I also had a talk, you know, about, you know, my PC experience. You know, I had a little talk there. So thanks new subs for coming on board and checking these videos out. I don't put up videos every day or necessarily every week, but you know, maybe with some encouragement I might put up more. You know, my channel isn't monetized. I'm just recording this at 60 frames per second, and I'm rendering it from an AVI file that I recorded with Bandicam to I'm rendering it to an MP4 using Freemake, and that's why at the end there's going to be like a little watermark at the end of this video. All my stuff is captured with software that I just got cracked, and I have an old editing suite, Coral Video Studio X6 or 7. It's this junk that came with my CPU when I got it, and it doesn't export any videos at 60 frames per second. So, you know, I'm pretty due to get like some new software, and I kind of don't want to pay for it. But I'm just telling you, that's why like a lot of my 60 frames per second videos, that's why all of them end in that watermark there, if you're wondering. So yeah, you know, I put more effort into my videos if it was going at, you know, I'd put more effort into it if it was going at 30 frames per second. You know, I could cut it up more. I could, you know, put some music in the background. I could, you know, do some layered things onto the videos, but Yeah, ever since YouTube made that switch to having the option of 60 frames per second, I'm kind of liking just doing this in general. But you know, some emulators, some games emulate at 30 frames per second. If I was going to play Super Mario 64, that doesn't run at 60 frames per second, right? Or Final Fantasy 7. A lot of, you know, Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 games and PS2 games. You know, the ones that run at 60 frames per second that you wouldn't necessarily think of when you hear that topic is a lot of like Super Nintendo games and NES games. Like in my Heigen video where I was demonstrating, you know, the different, you know, platforms that you can play with Heigen. It's a like a Nintendo console emulator. It does NES, Super NES, Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance. In a lot of those videos, I noticed that because some of the games ran at 60 frames per second natively, and I was recording at 30, there were kind of like these visual glitches that you would see. Like in Mega Man, when you get hit, in pretty much every classic Mega Man game, after you get hit, you start flashing, and that means that you can't take any damage, right? So when you play at, you know, 60 frames per second, he's flashing, you can really see him flashing, you know, like blink, 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 blink. When you record at 30 frames per second, that flashing, it almost looks like he's fucking like disappearing and shit, because it's recording less of what's actually being shown. So it looks pretty fucking bogus. Well, anyway, I just discussed kind of how I make my videos and why they got that Freemake at the end. Because I'm kind of a cheap bastard. And I mean, if I could get like some software that I knew I could use off Amazon, and if I knew if it would really be worth it, you know, maybe I'd get it if it was like, you know, $30 or something. But yeah, I just don't want to take a plunge on something like that. I'd be more likely to get a capture card to record Super Smash Brothers for Wii U. I'd be more likely to get something like that than, you know, spend 50 or $100 on video editing software. And, you know, I have torrented stuff in my time, but it just seems like every time I look up something relating to video software, there's a lot of posts on it like, oh, this is a virus. And I know there's a lot of, you know, idiots that might say that, or trolls, or just people, you know, just fucking around doing that just to raise doubt. But the thing is, there's a high incentive for video editing software to have viruses in it. Very much so. You know, I've heard of something that you could do on a PC where it's like you can like create a virtual machine on your PC, like you're emulating a computer on your PC, and then like you could put a file in the virtual machine, and it would be like you could test if something's wrong with stuff. You could test if there's like viruses or malware in something when you try to open it. I have heard of that, and I never really looked into it, but I've gone on long enough. Gotta cut the video. That costume just doesn't look right. Later. He has a fanny pack.